Hello everyone, in today's video I wanted to go over some settings that I use for console that I've been explaining a lot to people recently. We've had some people come over to console from PC and they've been asking, what's the best settings to use? Is there any settings that I need to change? And although I've kind of covered these in videos before, I thought it was a good time to put a new video out today showing you exactly the settings I choose to use on console, which will help improve your gameplay on the Division 2. So there is quite a couple that I'm going to suggest that you change today, and there's also some that are kind of personal preference that you're going to have to play around with. But one of the settings is here. Now you can see how when I shoot these enemies, how the numbers float right in front of me. This is one that is very, very popular. I get asked a lot about this in streams, and we'll be covering that today also, along with many others. So if you do enjoy this video, please do hit like and share to support the video today. I'd really appreciate it. And make sure you subscribe if you're new here for more content from myself. But most importantly, once you are finished with the video today, I link our community at the top of every video description. We're over 24,000 members now and counting. We're growing very, very fast. Make sure you come and check us out. It's a Discord community. It's the best Division community on Discord. Come and click that link at the end of the video today and come and see what we're about. And as always, I just want to give a shout out to all the channel members. We're over 160 members now on the channel. I really appreciate the support that you give. If you want to support me to 200 channel members before the end of 2022, I'd really appreciate it. Come and click join from the channel homepage and come and share your support. So the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously open the settings menu. From your options screen, you go to settings, and we've got all these different settings here that we're able to change. I will discuss some settings today with you that I don't personally change. I know a lot of people do, but basically I'm going to go over anything that anyone has asked in stream recently, because I do feel, especially if you're coming from PC to console, that these settings are really going to help you. They do with me. And even if you're just a console player, you haven't looked at the settings, just change these now and see what you think. So I really do think they improve your game. And we're going to start with that scrolling text for your damage numbers that I just spoke about in the intro. For that, this is personal preference, of course, and you find it under the UI. So if you go into UI, what you're looking for is scrolling combat text. Now, the combat text scrolling mode, you can have it on random sphere, which I think is the default. You can have it on floating, or you can have it on 2D. It is the floating setting that puts those numbers in the center of the screen on the body where you hit it, as I have it. And as I said, this is the most common thing I get asked in my streams, is how do you get your numbers like that? This is how you do it. Just change that to floating and you'll have them like I do. The next setting that I highly recommend that you change is under gameplay. So go over to gameplay. There's nothing else I touch here apart from the field of view. Right near the bottom here, you have additional field of vision, additional degrees added to all game cameras field of vision, and you have additional field of vision while aiming, which is additional degrees added to all aiming cameras field of view. Now, I think by default, both of these are set as 0, I think, and what you want to do is bump them right up to max, which is 25. Make sure you do this. This increases the field of view, it allows you to see more of the area, and it just improves your overall gameplay. Like, if you can see more, you can react better, and it makes it feel faster as well. Like, you can really tell when somebody's playing with a low field of view because the game seems to be much slower. So if you increase this, then it's going to feel faster. It's just going to be better, and once you get used to it, it's just better all round. On PC, you actually have a field of view even higher than this because of the performance you get on PC, which makes it even better again. But on console, this is the max you can do, and I highly recommend you buff both of these to 25. Next, we're going to go under the control settings. I do change quite a lot in this, and this is where a lot of personal preference come in. So starting with the camera sensitivity, aim sensitivity, and the scope sensitivity modifier, you want to play around with these to find what you want. Some people really like high sensitivity. Some people, like me, prefer lower sensitivity. So I go with 6 on camera, I go with 10 on aim, and for scoped it is 5. They're the numbers that I have and what I'm happy with. Play around with these until you're happy. But there are more settings here that I advise everybody does. On any shooter game, the controller vibration, as good as it is, as immersive as it's meant to be or whatever, I turn this off. Vibration isn't great, especially if you're trying to improve your aim or get the best aim you can. Vibration's just going to put that off. So make sure you turn vibration off. Highly recommend that. As we go further down, you get the dead zone. You've got left stick dead zone size and right stick dead zone size. So with this, you adjust the size of the left stick's dead zone. smaller size makes the left stick more sensitive to input, and the same with the right one. That will make the right stick more sensitive to input. Now, you want these at 0. What that means is basically as soon as you start moving your analog stick, it's going to react. There's no dead zone. So if you put this up to like 5, say, there's going to be a little bit of movement on that left stick where it's not going to respond. And I think that's what it is by default. I think by default you get it at 5 or something like that. You want to drop this down to 0. The only issue with having these both at 0, especially on PlayStation controllers, is when you do start to develop stick drift, then it's going to really have a negative impact. And what you might want to do instead of buying a new controller right away is come back into the settings, just increase the dead zone a little bit to help fix the stick drift. But that's a controller malfunction. As long as your controller is working absolutely fine, 0 dead zone is going to be the best settings here for you to have. And as you get used to it, you're going to be much more responsive, much more better with your aim, and just more reactive. It's highly recommended you have these on 0. And the last setting under controls I want to talk about is something we spoke about in stream the other night with Dawn. She came over from PC and she said, I heard that consoles have aim assist. Now, this should be on by default, but yeah, just make sure you come down to aim assist, turn aim assist on or off, and make sure it's on. So with aim assist, you'll notice that with your crosshair, when your crosshair is near an enemy and you press aim, it will go to the enemy, often go to the enemy's head as well. It really is beneficial. If you play without aim assist, you're going to struggle a little bit until you improve. You definitely want to make sure this is switched on. As I said, it should be on by default, and just make sure it's on. Moving on to the VoIP settings now. I'm not sure what these are by default, but it's basically voice over in play or in game. I'm not sure if that's what the acronym's for there, but what you want to do, if you want to play in the dark zone, or if you're playing with random people in PvE or so, and you're not in a party chat, you're able to talk with them over your microphone in game. So just make sure that your settings here, if they are different by default, that you just make sure that's on no, and you have microphone enabled. I know quite often on PC when you're talking Discord, you do the opposite because you don't want your microphone enabled as you're talking in Discord, but on console this is important, especially if you want to talk to other players without a party chat. And if you go down, you can have a dark zone specific VoIP where you can have it allied only for just your team or all for everybody around you. So on these YouTube videos where you see people talking to each other in the dark zone and giving each other crap, they all have this set to all. So make sure you've also got that if you want to be able to do that. And the final setting is accessibility. I get a lot of questions about how do you change the color of your loot. So if we scroll down here, we've got colorblind settings under accessibility. And the loot I'm on about is like gear. If you get a gear drop on the Division 2, it's green. But a lot of people watch streams where it's blue instead. And this is all they are changing to do that. Instead of having it on none like I have, where it will show green gear, you want to change it to one of these. And what I've been told, it's the one that starts with D. So if you select that one, that's the one that makes your green gear blue if you want the different colored gear. But that is all they're doing. They're just adjusting the colorblind setting, which changes the loot color. And as I said, it's a question I get asked a lot in stream on how you change that, and it's as simple as that. And that is it for all of my recommended settings for the Division 2 on console. They're the settings that I choose to change. As I said, a lot of it is personal preference. That you might not like the scrolling combat numbers there, which you see on my screen. So you might not want that, but I know a lot of people do. And with the sensitivity, that's all down to you as well and playing around with it. But I think a few of those settings there are definitely a must for myself, and I think other players will benefit from them also. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today. If you've been looking at your settings or haven't touched them yet and want to play around with them, I hope it helps. Please remember to hit like and share on the video to support this. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe if you're new for more content from myself. This is the end of the video now, so come and check out that fantastic community I mentioned earlier. It's linked at the top of the video description. We'll see you in there. But until the next stream or the next video, thank you for watching this. Stay safe and peace out.